his rivals. Marcus Semien ready to lead it off. There is Framber Valdez ready to make his second start of this postseason. And this season, John, where it has not been quite the smooth ride that it was last year for Framber, but he is still a guy that you at least really trust in these big games.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of hard to explain. He's pitched a ton of tough luck games that didn't result in a win, but he's also had some of those that have gone the wrong way. You've seen what he did against the Rangers, but this guy's sinker, wait till you see the movement on this pitch. Tremendous curveball, and if he is as good as his mechanics and his throwing strikes, he will be tough on anybody that is trying to hit against him.
So 5 runs over 4 1/3 in Game 2 of the division series, his first start of this postseason, and it's the 6th time since the All-Star break that he's given up at least 5. But he's also had 4 starts where he's gone at least 7 scoreless innings. That includes a no-hitter. How do you explain the wide gap in those outcomes?
Well, sometimes as you navigate to everyone expecting you to be a #1 pitcher, it comes with extending that consistency. And some of those clubs, maybe they weren't having good years, and you take that lightly, and the next thing you know, you're giving up a bunch of runs. But their manager loves him. Dusty Baker says he's progressing and getting better. A very emotional pitcher, and one that you'll see the emotions during the game, but he is as classic, as fundamentally sound as it gets. It's an understatement to say I love to watch him pitch.
Yeah, I can tell. I can feel it coming from you. The defense behind Framber Valdez here in Game 2 looks like this. Michael Brantley into the lineup. He's in left field. Chas McCormick moves over to center, and of course Tucker is in right. Those infielders figure to be busy with all the ground balls that Valdez induces. Bregman and Pena, Altuve and Abreu, and Maldonado is behind the plate. Take a look at the exchange. It may or may not happen at home plate as Marcus Semien stands in, as Tom told us yesterday. He said what up to the home plate umpire and to Maldonado, and Stu Sherwater, the home plate umpire, said hey. Maldonado said nothing. And I don't know that there was much back and forth right there.
There wasn't. This is strength against strength. Semien loves the sinker, but guess what? If I'm a pitcher that has the sinker of Valdez, and I'm not changing it, I'm throwing him sinkers.
Yeah, you're saying not my sinker. Off we go in Game 2 with a sinker that's grounded through the middle, base hit. First pitch base hit from Marcus Semien, and you know that feels extra good given the recent history Tom detailed.
Well, the best thing you can do when you're on the road and you've already stole Game 1 is to get on the board quick and create havoc for this crowd who is waiting to erupt for their home team, which we already documented. Home has not been a home sweet home lately.
Yeah, the Astros below 500 here this season as Corey Seager goes after the first pitch. Bloop shot left field and down. 2 pitches and 2 singles. Semien and Seager, the big ticket items they got 2 years ago, have come through time and again, and they set the table here in Game 2.
Well, we've done many games now, and we've talked about the third hitter could come up in 3 pitches or less. He's coming up in 2 pitches or less. Grossman would shock me if he swings at the first pitch. He's more patient. But again, the theme for the Texas Rangers, they're proud of their offense. They have aggression, and it's showing early.
First one to Grossman. He takes in the dirt. This is Grossman's first appearance for the Rangers since Game 1 of the division series. He was the starting 3-hitter for the wild card round in the first game in Baltimore, but he went 2 for 14 with 8 strikeouts. And remember, they put Mitch Garver into that spot. He hit the grand slam. But as they face a left-hander today, Grossman gets another chance, and he's ahead 2-0.
The theme for today's game is going to be centered around, by the way, umpiring has been great in this postseason that we have been part of, is the low strike. If Valdez and or Eovaldi get the low strike, which this home plate umpire is known to be calling, that is a good thing for each pitcher.
2-1.
Because what each pitcher is going to try to do in different ways is utilize the downward eye action of the hitter, because they can throw the curveball below the line and the changeup and this cutter, especially Valdez, and his reliant on movement.
First to have reached in this first inning. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Robbie Grossman, and there is that low strike, 2-2.
And that's huge, because you'll get hitters to chase now if you can consistently go there. Nobody gives up as many ground balls. This is a ground ball pitcher, and you're already seeing the movement. So double play is a sweet spot for Valdez if he gets the ball on the ground.
Wouldn't he love one here? Rangers threatening early. Little tapper back to Valdez. He juggles. He throws wide. Throwing air from Framber Valdez, leading to the first run of the game. Back-to-back singles and then a throwing air from Valdez, and it's 1-0 Rangers before the folks even settle into their seats.
What's amazing about Valdez, as good as he is on the mound and throwing strikes and making the ball move, he doesn't like throwing to the bases as well. And you see this from pitchers every time when they've got the issue of throwing the ball, whether it's picking off a runner or throwing to first base. That bobble is the reason why he had issues, because the ball and the runner meet at the same time, and there is nothing that Abreu can do.
Now, we've talked, John, a little bit about the mental side of things for Framber Valdez, and he even says when he's good, it's because he's locked in, focused. When he struggles, it tends to be when he's not quite there mentally, and you can already see, and understandably, frustration through 7 pitches.
Yeah, and really, I mean, a ground ball up the middle, a little flare into left field, and then that. We're not talking exit velocity 110 or 105, but that's baseball.
Adolis Garcia pokes the first one into right field, base hit. Seager in to score. Grossman to third. 2-0, just like that. 8 pitches into the game. They've got 4 base runners. They've got 2 runs.
Well, again, if you're the visiting team, you get a chance to shock the opponent right away, and their game plan has been simple. See that movement? If you try to pull that pitch, you're going to have an out. But he went right with that pitch, and discipline and approach for the Rangers has been unbelievable this postseason. That's why they haven't lost.
After a 2-0 win in game 1, it's already 2-0 in game 2. And Mark Ripperger, the home plate umpire. A little equipment malfunction. Gives us a chance to tell you about his friends.
The only chance we would get to tell the way this game's going.
Yes, no doubt about it. Crew chief is Marvin Hudson, who's at second base. He'll have the plate for game 4. So Adolis Garcia with an RBI single. Yesterday was his first game of the postseason where he didn't have a hit. Doesn't waste any time here, and then some sweet kicks. Tom Verducci, what do you got?
Yeah, this looks like a repeat of the game plan last night for Tim Hires and the hitting coaches for Texas. Last night against Verlander, their goal was to take away early fastballs. Do not concede an early fastball, and they did swing. First pitch, 8 of the first 13, and here today, 3 of the first 4 jumping on first pitch sinkers from Valdez.
And it's one thing to have that. It's another thing to get the pitch and do something with it, because what Valdez can do is pound you into the ground and get a lot of quick outs, and the next thing you know, he's thrown 7-8 innings, and that's when he's great. That's what happens.
And John, the Rangers won yesterday's game without getting anything from the top of the order. It was all the bottom of the order that contributed yesterday, but top of the order getting involved here.
Well, you knew they were going to be not wanting to talk about that, even though a team win. You know, the top of the order is what's made Texas so great.
Well, how about these aggressive swings from these Rangers?
Well, you see that ball's down, and he just goes with it right up the middle. Again, if you're trying to pull that pitch, and this is just one of those things, you just hit it in the perfect spot. But that's the best approach I've seen on that sinker, to go the other way. Maybe some more curveballs come into play because of that aggressiveness. You have a game plan. Sometimes the team and the approach makes you change it.
First and third, Mitch Garver, first pitch curve, and if you're the starting pitcher and you just get hit in the mouth right away like this, how do you steady and move on?
Well, it's tough because the magnitude of the game means more. If there's a regular season game, it wouldn't be as much emphasis.
Garver now yanks a line drive into left field. That'll drop in for another Texas hit, and it's 3-0. The 4th hit out of the first 10 pitches of this game. Wow.
Yeah, so now you're a little more concerned, right? You never pitch a game trying to get that first out. There's the changeup, and that one just, again, along with the hitters, they're making good paths at the baseball and singling them here in the first inning.
Paper cuts. First and second. Jonah Heim fouls off the first pitch. And this is what the Rangers can do. The top run scoring team in the American League all season. And everybody you talk to that watches the Rangers, that prepares for the Rangers, said that's the #1 thing. You've got to be able to avoid the big inning because it can happen so fast. Another curve, and it's 0-2.
Well, last night, of course, we talked about the first 4 hitters not really getting much done. Well, top heavy lineup is come out swinging, and you wouldn't know the difference between being up 4 or down, up 3 or down 3 with Bruce Bochy. He's steady as they come.
Heim fouls that one into the glove, somehow squeezed by Maldonado for the first out. Heim's arguing that that thing bounced. I don't know how it didn't. He's saying no way.
Well, there's the tremendous sink, and that definitely bounced. You could hear the sound live, and that's why I'm surprised they didn't check down the line, but the umpire was pretty sure in his assessment, called it a strikeout.
First out of the game for Valdez here against the 6-hitter. Now it's Nathaniel Lowe taking a strike. The Lowe homered against Valdez earlier this season. Valdez has given up just 2 home runs on his curveball all year, and Lowe has one of them. 0-2.
Well, if you were watching the last series, we talked about the Rangers and their ability to score 3 or more in an inning. They've done that a lot, over 118 times in the year. So they're familiar with the crooked number. This is huge in the postseason when you can do it in the first inning.
Punches a base hit the other way, does Lowe. Here comes Garcia. Brantley up with it. His throw is cut off on a full spot of the first. Four runs on 5 hits and an error against Framber Valdez in the first inning.
Super disciplined, and without the shift, the ultimate shift, he hits it away from where they are playing. He goes right through that 5-hole, if you will, between the shortstop and the third baseman, and it seems harmless. And the inning, it's 4 runs with a lot of just perfectly executed placement of their hits.
8th man to bat is Josh Young. Takes ball 1. Young in his first postseason hitting .391, just the latest box for the rookie to check. Came up last September, checked the box on his first swing with a home run. Made his first opening day roster this year. All-star as a rookie. And it just has not mattered what the challenge has been. This guy's been up to it.
Well, all of the hits have been in the strike zone, and that's just something that you're not used to seeing off of Framber. He's getting people to go outside the strike zone and ground balls.
He's completely taken the crowd out of this game. You're pin dropping this place.
I would think here, going to the curveball, trying to get that off that foul ball height of that fastball, try to get the curveball to go to that back foot of the right-handed hitter.
First and second, one away, 1-2 pitch. It is that curve, but Young takes it.
Yeah, and if he is connected, okay, and not throwing too many of those in a row, the curveball starting in the strike zone, ending out of the strike zone, that one started too low for Young to go after. I'd back it right back up with another curveball, trying to do the exact same thing with a little height adjustment on it.
2-2.
There it
Got it. Well done. Second strikeout of this first inning for Valdez.
That pitch is his signature pitch. It's so difficult for hitters because he has so much break on it. And he throws it with such ease.
First and second, 2 gone. Leody Taveras, one of the stars of game 1, with a home run against Justin Verlander. Switch hitter, flips around, bats right-handed against Valdez. Now, Taveras in September hit above 300, started gaining some steam going into the postseason, and he's kept that up. .333 average in October. Garber at second, Lowe at first. 2-0 on Taveras.
See, sometimes the freedom you have to pitch, a lot of it has to do with the comfortable of a scoreboard, right? When you're down 4-0, that tension just takes you away from that freedom, and then your pitches get the emphasis of making perfect pitches starts creeping in your brain. You can't allow that to happen. Easier said than done. You know, you start getting to be and trying to be more perfect. When this shocks your system, it's doubly more impactful in the postseason than it is in the regular season.
Guys had so much success in the postseason. You know, he struggled in the World Series in 21, but then was kind of boosted by that into the offseason, determined to be better last postseason. He had a 144 in 4 starts in the World Series run last year. But he gave up 5 runs in his first start of this postseason last week in the division series, and he's given up 4 in the first here.
And again, just a great approach. They're not tattooing him. They're just putting good swings on pitches that they can get up in the zone. Everybody will tell you a collective effort is make him get the ball up. Well, how do you make the pitcher get the ball up? But when he has a really good sinker, you have to see the ball at a certain area and know that that sink is going to be up, and those are the ones you got to go after and stay off of the ones that end up below the zone.
If it's high, let it fly. If it's low, let it go. Runners take off on a 3-2 that Taveras lifts into center field. Back goes McCormick. He's got room, but the Rangers have 4. Most runs they've ever scored in the first inning of a postseason game, and it will be an uphill climb for the Astros in game 2. Abreu bats 5th. Michael Brantley gets his first start of this series with McCormick in center. Jeremy Pena at short, and Martin Maldonado doing the catching out of the 9th spot. Nathan Eovaldi came to the Rangers with a big game reputation, and he has lived up to it, winning both clinchers to this point.
He absolutely has. I still think this is the toughest matchup he'll have because this lineup is so disciplined, and Eovaldi is a strike thrower. There's going to be aggression early, especially starting with Altuve. You can get either a lot of quick outs or you get a lot of quick action out of the Astros.
Here we go. First one and ball 1. It's going to be an interesting thing, right? The aggressiveness you're talking about. Eovaldi lived off a pound in the zone, especially his last game. 98 pitches, 76 of those were strikes. His 1-0 to Altuve is yanked foul.
Yeah, a lot of that had to do with the game planning of Baltimore. More passive, work the count, younger lineup. This lineup, however, they will not expand the zone. And again, at the height of the fastball, the strike zone going to be huge for Eovaldi because he's already thrown splits.
Oh, didn't get the call there.
He's going to attack you with fastballs, but he cannot throw the amount of fastballs he's thrown against other teams. Like this team is very good. He's going to occasionally spin his breaking ball. His go-to pitch is a split, which works off the fastball height and then disappears below the zone.
Altuve, who has homered against him 5 times, fouls this one back, and it's 2-2. This is a lineup full of guys that have crushed Eovaldi.
Yeah, and in fairness, when they didn't give him his rehab starts, some of that was when he came back early on. But the eyesight and the arm delivery and the height of the fastball kind of feeds into Houston's narrative of how they like to attack pitchers.
Altuve leading off game 2. Stays at 2 balls and 2 strikes against Nathan Eovaldi, 33 years old, out of nearby Elvin, Texas, and has developed a reputation as a postseason stud. 2.70 ERA in 13 postseason games. That includes his first postseason with the Rangers. Home with another 2-2. Count goes full on Altuve. Started the clinching game in St. Pete. 1 run over 6 2/3. Started the clinching game in Baltimore. 1 run in 7.
Some of the numbers that this team has against him is why he's going to pitch him differently this time, no matter with the 4-0 lead or not.
The payoff. Fly the other way for Adolis Garcia. And Altuve, the first out of this one, as we take a look at today's FanDuel Live same-game parlay. Eovaldi part of it, coming off a 7 strikeout performance in the division series. And Jose Abreu's got 3 home runs in his last 3 games. No 1 gone in this first inning, and here comes Alex Bregman, and it's kind of going to be a broken record here. Bregman has hit Eovaldi hard, 421 with a home run. First pitch swing from the normally very patient Alex Bregman. And out number 2.
And see, that's going to be the game within the game, the cat and mouse game. You got a strike thrower on the mound. You got a passive kind of really control the strike zone hitting team, and who comes out of what, like who changes what to get something going. And right there showed you a sign of a typically taking type Bregman. He came out swinging early.
2 up, 2 down in this first inning for Eovaldi. Kyle Tucker climbs in. Dusty Baker trying to get Tucker going and moves him up into the 3 spot today with Alvarez behind him, hoping that protection leads to some more strikes for Tucker, who is just 2 for 18 so far this postseason.
One of the things to look for in today's game is going to be this height of where they want the ball, right? Can they get the hitters to think there and then have the arrows of where his split's going to go in that position? That's going to be the key. As you saw on the line, that splitter right to first base.
Yeah, and a 1-2-3 first inning for Nathan Eovaldi, going perfectly for the Rangers through 1 inning. Game 1, they get 4 runs on 5 hits in the first inning of game 2 and lead 4-0. Trying to get to 7-0 in this postseason. Top of the order, Marcus Semien against Framber Valdez. He swings at the first pitch and he's 2 for 2, having seen 2 pitches. It's been quite a week for Marcus Semien, and the baseball's only half of it, Kenny.
That's right, Joe. Marcus spent the last few weeks worrying that he would miss the birth of his 4th child. His wife, Tara, wasn't due until Saturday, but after the Rangers completed their sweep of the Orioles, she told Marcus she had a plan. She would be induced between series, enabling him to be there. And so it was on Thursday that Tara gave birth to their first daughter, baby Amelie. Marcus said, Tara is a competitor. She's ready for me to have a good series.
Amelie better be a competitor, too. She's going to go home with 3 older brothers. House full of boys. Congratulations to the Semien family as Corey Seager takes a strike 1-1. Seager singled and scored himself in that first inning. Postseason average above 400. Living up to that record-setting contract. Beyond living up to it. I mean, he probably wins MVP this year if not for Shohei Ohtani and if not for missing as much time as he did. And then he's taken it to a level even above that in the postseason.
Yeah, he sure has, and not fazed by anything, although he was fazed by that call right there because big guy saw that ball down and in. Got called a strike, so now he'd be more aggressive in that area. See, I think, pitchers miss opportunities in that exact situation when a hitter's frustrated with a particular pitch and then the next pitch is nowhere near that pitch to create stress. Obviously, you're trying to make what you think is the best pitch to get a strikeout or an out, but that one just reset Seager in that previous pitch that he didn't like.
Curve misses inside. Count is full. There goes Semien on a 3-2 that Seager grounds foul.
Well, the Rangers don't run a lot, and they'll be selective with the guys they can run because, again, the running game and the throwing over to first, not especially of Framber. So here 3-2, you got your stud at the plate. He's going to control the strike zone for the most part, and even if he doesn't, you feel like Semien can get to second base on his own.
Leaning over there. Not going this time. Seager chases strike 3. Third K.
Well, there's the footwear, shiny white of the first inning, and then no sir, we are not going with those shoes. They may be thrown away and never seen again.
Bad shoes. Too many runs in those shoes. See, talking about him controlling the running game or attempting to, in his career there have been 47 stolen base attempts against him. 44 of those have been successful.
And he has such a luxury if he can keep them there because of the ground ball double plays.
Robbie Grossman grounds one to short. Can they get 2 here? There's 1. Can't transfer. And they settle for the 1 out. Grossman runs pretty well, and he's hit softly.
You know, left-handed version of Greg Maddux. Not the kind of velocity, but the movement, the mechanics, the get the ball on the ground, use your defense. Your defense would and should love to play behind Framber Valdez because of the action that he creates on the ground.
Adolis Garcia, who singled on the first pitch that he saw to bring home a run last time. Runner first, 2 out. First pitch here. Swings at it. You said that Framber, given that delivery and the way that he lands, so balanced, this is exactly how you teach it if you're talking to a young guy.
Absolutely. Now I understand, you know, most pitchers, especially power pitchers, are trying to maximize velocity and spin it, and they're going to fall over one place or another. But he's like got a brick wall in front of him when he lands. Perfect position to field. Perfect way his head stays still, and that's why when he's on, he can throw the ball where he wants to. Now this is out of the stretch, but watch when he gets to his landing leg how good this is and how he stands straight up as if there's the wall in front of him he can't crash into. And it's just fun to watch when he's doing his thing in a locked-in version.
Got a chase there, got ahead 1 and 2. If he gives up runs in this inning, maybe he'll shift to the shoes that Adolis Garcia has on. That would certainly be a left turn. Adolis has some bright ones. Every highlighter in the pack is represented on Adolis' shoes. Sweet.
Important innings now for Valdez to give Dusty Baker. I mean, I know there's a day off tomorrow, but you still want this game. It's well within reach right here. Hold him and give him as many innings to save that bullpen. I talked about it first. I mean, only 1 ball was hit over 100 miles an hour. You're talking about Seager at 66, then Garver at 79, Simeon at 92, and it doesn't matter in the scorebook, that's for sure. You just, pitcher can only do one thing and limit how hard he hits. The other team hits the ball.
Leadoff single in this inning. Runner still at first, 2 out, and a 2-2 pitch from Valdez. Garcia takes ball 3. Whoa, look at him with a cartwheel. Actually, that pitch might have hit him. It's like it hit him on the foot. And he's going to reach.
Caught his front foot, maybe.
Those shoes are getting a lot of good airtime here. Yep, got the front foot. And Garcia's been on both times. This is a pretty low-key, steady personality Rangers team. You don't see much emotion. He is the outlier. He plays with fire. Strike on Garver.
Well, what Bruce Bochy liked about his team and the heartbeat and the kind of level attitude, he thinks that really works well in the postseason. And his team certainly had that with the Giants for the majority of his time managing them.
Yeah, he says he sees some of that Posey, Crawford, panic, the serious attitude. He sees that in this group.
Especially this guy. He said he's not Buster Posey, but he has Buster Posey-like heartbeat, and nothing's going to bother him.
Rangers scored 4 in the first. They've got first and second here in the second. And Mitch Garver knocked in one of those 4 runs in the first inning. Waiting on this 0-2. Framber Valdez gives up 4 in the first. The shoes weren't any good, though. He tossed them out, got the shoes that don't give up runs. Astros trying to give their fans something to cheer about. Looking for their first run in this championship series as Yordan Alvarez takes ball 1. In the first game, he went 0 for 4. He struck out 3 times, but he's facing a guy that he has owned.
Yeah, he has owned him. He has taken away his fastball. You saw the first one up because that's what he was trying to get. The damage that he has done against Eovaldi has been in the middle of the zone, down with fastballs. Now he will spin his breaking ball and try eventually to get him to chase that split, but early on he is definitely making a known that he wants to go up and in with the fastball.
And this one pitch goes with a curve, and that is how they attacked him, or at least finished him off yesterday. All 3 Ks came swinging on curveballs. Eovaldi's 2-1. Alvarez turns on the ball. There it goes. Yordan Alvarez gets the Astros on the board with an upper deck home run.
When a hitter is taking away your fastball and you got numbers like now 9 for 12, you feel lost as a pitcher. And he tried to pitch him totally different. I watched all the at-bats. The fastball he just crushes. And it's the angle of which Eovaldi throws in the release point and the ability to not maybe have that pitch, that kind of hard slider in.
Strike on Abreu.
This is not far from where Eovaldi wanted to throw this pitch. This is just a human being that loves hitting in the postseason and hitting home runs.
You sure about that? You sure about the human?
He may not be,
But he's a chopper off of the bat of Abreu. Backs up Young, loads up and gets him. Another look at the 5th home run in 6 games this postseason.
Well, look where the target is. And it needed to be just a little bit higher. It's in the strike zone. He wanted to go higher. The target is that area that, of course, you want that fastball to have that riding action. But he catches too much of the strike zone. And every fastball that's been in the strike zone has been hit well by Alvarez.
Michael Brantley takes strike 1 from Eovaldi. After missing 14 months with a shoulder injury and then shoulder surgery, Brantley came back for the final push. Did enough to make the postseason roster and has gone 3 of 11 with a home run in the final game of the division series. Really is amazing what he's done, missing as much time as he did. And during that time, wondering, am I ever going to get back? Maybe I'm finished. There's setback after setback this summer before he finally played in his first game on August 29th. And then showed enough in just 15 games over that final month to get on the roster and get in the lineup. On this 0-2, Brantley takes strike 3. Splitter gets him looking.
Well, we're going to show you the home run again and show you why this guy's so good. Now, here's where the target is entered, right? And that target is where he wants to get it. But see where that ball ends up, almost right at the target. I would argue that if he had a chance to do it again, he would have that target and he would get it a little bit higher so that he can get it out of the zone.
Chas McCormick fouls off a first pitch splitter. Man, it just shows you that you miss by like 2 inches. Yeah, first of all, that's not the guy you want to do it against, but big league hitters are going to make you pay.
Well, he sees the ball really good off of Eovaldi. To say one thing, the release point that Eovaldi has doesn't allow him to have kind of the high fastball naturally in his game.
Backhand play Young from the far corner of the diamond, got him. Josh Young, what a player this kid is. The rookie takes a hit away from Chas McCormick.
These guys can play defense. They're not all hit. And their defense is winning them a couple games already in the postseason.
We are back after a word from your local Fox station. To Port, 4-1 game as we move along to the 3rd. And Jonah Heim leads off for the Rangers. Fouls off the first pitch. Heim struck out his first time. One of the 4 for Valdez. Rangers catcher has a hit in all 6 games this postseason.
Yeah, you could pencil him in for a single, right?
It's been 6 games, 6 singles. Fouls this one off, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, he will run into some power. Obviously, he's a very strong, and it's funny how the Rangers season has gone offensively. They had a lot of guys locked in, and a couple of them, 3 of them really got hurt. And now they're all back to health. At one point, I think they lost their catcher, their third baseman, and their shortstop.
Yeah, so they had 5 guys in the starting lineup in the All-Star game. 4 of those 5 guys spent time in the second half on the injured list. There's a fly ball to left field, and Jonah Heim hits it out. There's that power you're talking about. It's not just the singles. Plenty of shock in that bat as well, and the Rangers get the run right back. First postseason home run for Jonah Heim, and it's 5-1 Texas.
Well, again, now that's going to cause Dusty to think about his bullpen. He's hoping that his starter can get locked in, but the approach the Rangers have had against Valdez has been impressive. Up the middle the other way on his sinker, and occasionally if you get a ball in, you can drop the barrel of the bat to it like he did right there in the short porch, and a homer. I'm amazed. I mean, we have so much information, and you get to this time of the year and you watch video and you see the pitcher in the regular season. This is a division foe, but the execution of the Rangers at this timing of their streak has been about as good as it can be. They took 2 great pitchers for the Baltimore Orioles, 2 hard-throwing, stuff-oriented pitchers, got them out of the zone, walked them, created problems on the bases, and then drove them in.
And it's extra impressive because there are not many guys in this lineup that are postseason veterans. Of course, Corey Seager would be the exception to that. Simeon's played some in the postseason. But you got a bunch of dudes playing on this stage for the first time and taking those team-wide approaches and implementing them a lot of times to perfection. Here's a 2-1 pitch to Lowe.
You know how in Philadelphia the fan base kind of turned around. There's, you know, great shortstop and Turner, and now you look what he's done. I think the Rangers may have set a blueprint for teams that you want to tick them off. Take them from Seattle and go to Tampa and put them on a long road trip, and they're going to come out swinging. It's exactly what the Rangers obviously did in their crazy route to this point.
Call into the scheduling office this winter. Hey, we would like to see, could you line us up with a trip from Anaheim to Seattle to Tampa? We really think that would be good for us. And right near the end of the year, could you make that happen? And they have talked about it. And it's easy to say now because it's going the way that it's going. But some Rangers have said they don't think that they're here without having gone through that, without having to come together, scrape themselves off of the deck, win those 2 games in Tampa Bay and continue to march on instead of getting the week off, instead of winning the division. Got closer than ever.
Yeah, they got mad. They got mad is what they did, and they went to town. And this pitch right here on the homer, you see how it comes in. The breaking ball just doesn't get left of the target. And in this case, right from the TV angle. So he deposits that ball. It would have been out of pretty much every ballpark, maybe with the exception of Baltimore. But Texas, since that point, has done everything that you can do to put pressure on the opposing teams. And they haven't led for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it was 1 inning they trailed. That was in the division series, and they're in their 7th game at this point. Young, who had that fantastic defensive play to finish off the second, takes a ball. It's 1-1. Young went through one of those injuries you were referencing in the second half to one of the Texas All-Stars. He broke his thumb on August 6th and had to undergo surgery. Missed 6 weeks, and there was some concern around him going into the postseason because he slumped badly down the stretch. But has, like all these guys, turned it on for the postseason, hitting above 400. Let's go down to Ken Rosenthal.
Thanks, Joe. Jonah, you hit a 1-2 cutter. What was your approach against Valdez?
Just see something up. I mean, all his pitches got depth to it, and I didn't want to chase. Just trying to see something up in the zone and put a good swing on it and went over the fence.
What do you think of Nate so far?
He looks great. Hopefully he can keep rocking there, attack the zone, and get some outs.
Jonah, thanks a lot. Joe, back to you.
Ken and Jonah are getting to be buddies. They talked yesterday about the pitching, and after his home run, they talked again.
Well, the curveball's been really good. This cutter was not so good. The curveball, no hits, now 4 Ks. Everything else, 7 for 10. And I think there's some buzz and talk sometimes when you have such a great sinker and everyone's trying to figure out where did Framber Valdez go this year and what changed. when you throw a sinker and a cutter, sometimes the cutter can take away from your sinker. And there's some talk maybe that has been some of the things that have gotten him out of sync, because his sinker is so good. And we've seen him throw no-hitters. We've seen him dominate games. That cutter, which just gave up the home run, is thrown totally different. And I understand, look, Maddox threw a cutter, but it didn't do anything but stay straight because his ball moved so much. It got the hitters from leaning out over the plate. The reason you throw a cutter is you're trying to get them off of your sinker from looking away from that movement.
Ten runs allowed this postseason over 7 innings. Now, this is one of the phases that has not been the same for the Astros this season. Starting pitching not nearly as deep, not nearly as dominant. Here's a 2-1-2 to Tavares. Taken for ball 3. First half, Framber was looking just like he did last year. He was at a 2.51 ERA. Had it lined up. He probably was going to start the All-Star game. 4.55 in the second half, though. The struggles have continued here into the postseason. He walks Tavares, and the inning kept alive. And that may be it for him. Dusty Baker, much earlier walk than he ever anticipated making today. Going to go to the bullpen in the 3rd inning. This Texas offense chasing Framber Valdez from the game after 2 2/3, leading game 2 5-1. Jonah Heim getting the run right back. His first postseason home run. We'll be back with you on Wednesday with the scene shifting to Arlington. Game 3 of the American League Championship Series. Astros bullpen already gets into the game here in the 3rd inning. It's Rafael Montero.
Yeah, Montero's going to hopefully hold the fort a little bit against the right-handed heavy, or the right-hander that he's facing right now. Semien, two pitches, 2 base hits.
Stays away, ball 1.
When your leadoff hitter bats for the 3rd time in the 3rd inning, that's a pretty good thing.
Yeah.
Not so much for the other team.
Semien, who came into this game 4 for 27 in this postseason, is 2 for 2 through 2 innings. There goes the runner from first. Throw from Maldonado. Run! A blood up, but not quite in time. A stolen base for Leody Taveras.
Well, like we said, they do not run much. They have a couple guys that can do it, and Maldonado, one of the best. But a good jump. And we're 2 outs. Why not?
First stolen base attempt for the Rangers since the wild card series. That was bang bang, but he's just got that oven mitt in there. It's an RBI chance for Semien. The run already in the bank, and a Heim home run. Lays off, and he's ahead 2-1. Now, Montero was a huge part of the World Series run last year for the Astros. Turned that into a 3-year deal. And has a 5 ERA this season, but a lot of that is what happened in the first half. He turned things around the last few months. There's 2-1 to Semien. Is at the knees for strike 2. How about that? First player in postseason history to lead off the 1st inning and the 2nd inning with a hit on the first pitch. Been playing the postseason for a long time. On a 2-2, he swings and misses, and Montero comes on and gets his job done. MLBshop.com. Astros have the Blues on today. They have the Blues in this series, down 1-0, trailing game 2 5-1. Nathan Eovaldi gave up the home run to Yordan Alvarez last inning. That is the only hit for the Astros since the 4th inning yesterday. Jeremy Pena takes outside, and it's 1-1. Now, Bruce Bochy told us that they would, as soon as they could, get Evan Carter into the game. That was as soon as the bullpen got to work, because there are no left-handers down there. And already, Carter's in after his tremendous defensive performance in left field yesterday. Unfazed, this kid. You've said it a few times. Bruce Bochy said it's like he doesn't know he's playing in the big leagues.
Yeah, it's amazing what he's done since he's gotten called up.
Evaldi's 2-1. Poked down the right field line. Peeling out of play.
Well, coming into this inning, Evaldi's doing the same thing he did last game, and that's pounding strikes. 16 of the 22 are for strikes, and that's including the 3-2 count he had to Altuve to lead off the game. So he's unafraid, and with the lead, you can be more. Look, with the lead, people say, oh, how do you pitch differently? Well, you pitch differently by saying, if you're going to get me, you're going to get me with solo home runs. He's tough as nails when the runners are in scoring position. He's going to give up his home runs because he's going to attack the hitters, but it's going to take a lot of solos to win this game.
Yeah. Well, it's his second start in a row he's been empowered like this. He had a 6-0 lead after 2 innings in the division series. Got squeezed a little bit there.
Yeah, that was the target that had to reach over. It looked like it was in the strike zone, but he missed his target by a good margin.
So now it's 3-2. And Evaldi comes back on. Pena pops it into right. Garcia hardly has to move for the first out. And Evaldi's doing this not too far from his hometown of Elvin, Texas. About a 40-minute trip from here, the same place that produced Nolan Ryan, the class of 1965. Yeah, a bunch of friends and family here to watch Nathan today. A couple former Yellow Jackets. Check out the yearbook. Way back in 1968, they had Nolan as the most handsome senior. And then Nathan was voted Mr. Photogenic. Couple handsome dudes, couple good pitchers out of Elvin, Texas. Strikeout Maldonado.
Really, two guys that rely on their lower half strength, and you see what he's been able to do in the postseason. He's got an uptick in adrenaline and certainly velocity.
We're talking a little bit about his postseason theory, his philosophy, how he pitches so well in these games. And he said he takes all that extra adrenaline and emotion, and instead of using it to try and overpower everybody, he lets it sharpen his focus.
Yeah. Well, I've always said, you know, and I got the fortunate ability to throw a ton of postseason games, but I've said it like this: if you pitch a regular season game, you pitch it to win. You take chances. You're trying to survive the season. You don't pitch it like a postseason game. For every inning I pitched in the postseason, it would be 3 innings of effort in the regular season. Imagine doing that 30 times a year. You can't last. It's impossible. But you're not guaranteed another start.
Strikes out Maldonado.
So if you do that 5 times in a postseason, which is what you're going to need to go all the way, you can deal with that. And look, the Astros are dealing with the narrative that I've heard too often. The postseason hangover, right? Your starting staff going deep. They've been doing this now for 7 years. Yes, they've had a couple guys banged up this year, and they got a couple guys get injured, but they're finding a way to deal with it.
Back to the top, and Altuve grounds the first one that he sees to Seager. Uses that long frame to get there and finish off a 1-2-3 third for Evaldi. One game tonight, leading game 2 5-1 as we move along to the 4th. Corey Seager leads off against Rafael Montero and takes a ball. And this team has looked like such a machine that it is easy to forget that they're only 2 years removed from losing 102 games. There's a 6-year playoff drought, but it was not like it was a slow, steady build. They were really bad really recently. Seager into center field. Nice play, Chas McCormick to take a hit away from Seager. 1 gone in the 4th.
Yeah, they were struggling to get any continuity going, and then they signed a couple offensive impact players, and you're wondering, okay, is that all they're going to do? Is that enough? Well, no, it wasn't. They went out and got Jacob deGrom, and when he's healthy, a beast, the best in the business. And they made some other moves to strengthen their rotation.
First AB for Carter. Takes ball 1.
But with all those injuries, it did not look like this run was probable, especially as we documented the last 10 days of the season. They've stepped it up.
And I think you touched on something that is also worth reiterating. Yeah, plus losses in 2021. Last year, after they got Seager and Simeon, it wasn't like that was the magic bullet. They lost 94 last year. And then they invested in the pitching, and then they got Bruce Bochy. And they snapped a 6-year playoff drought. Made it to the championship series for the first time in 12 years. They've checked all these boxes. The one thing the Texas Rangers still have never done is win the World Series.
Yeah, and you could tell the blueprint was put the team together to enable that.
Carter lofts one the other way. And an easy one for Brantley.
Because we saw Philadelphia last year and the crowd base and what they were almost able to do for the Phillies. Guess what Texas is going to crowd base is going to be doing. They've only had one home game. So it's not like they've had, seen this team at home. They're going to get a chance to see them now, at least if this whole score holds up. Guaranteed 3 games at home, if not less.
Garcia fouls it back. They were revved up, man. I don't know about you, but I loved being there for that Game 3 of the division series.
Well, they've waited for a long time now, and they I guess you could say, shocked isn't the right word, but it was like, didn't see this kind of happening the way it was going down at the end.
Pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, that would be a good way to look at it. And certainly if they're able to win this series, they'll get home field in the World Series.
Which should be their first trip to the World Series since 2011, when they won back-to-back pennants, 10 and 11. And of course, the heartbreaking finish in 11, 1 out away from winning their first World Series, only to have the Cardinals steal it. Going upstairs with an 0-2 and taken for a ball.
But if they keep doing stuff like this, they've had 2 5-run innings, they've had 4 4-run innings, and a couple 2-run innings. That crooked number we talk about that Texas is famous for.
Got him with this high fastball. And Rafael Montero's returned it off forward that he's faced. Bregman swung at the first pitch that he saw his first time up, bounced out to third, leads off the fourth, and takes strike 1 from Nathan Eovaldi.
Well, the key for the Astros now is quality at bat after quality at bat after quality at bat, and the next thing you know, you've crawled back in this game. They've got to make Eovaldi work.
Going 2. Only 1 hit so far is a home run for Yordan Alvarez. No other base runners for the Astros, and only 2 base runners for the Astros now the last 8 innings. 0-2 pitch.
And that last pitch of the fastball inside corner sets up that split he tried to throw inside to a right-hander. And getting that idea is that the hitter sees it and is going to swing over the top of it because he thinks it's a fastball on the same plane.
See what he goes with on 1-2. It is a fastball that's hit foul. Bregman's 1 for 5 in the 2 games in this series. As a team, 7 for 57. Goes back into the final game of the division series. They've got 2 early home runs. There's a shot deep to left field. Alex Bregman gets it inside the pole for a home run. Second solo shot against Nate Eovaldi, and it's a 5-2 game.
Well, for here, they wanted this pitch, a splitter, to work its way in, but that pitch did not work its way in, and that pitch was right up in the barrel, and that is the difference between a splitter that gets hit and the first one that's gotten hit against Eovaldi today.
So the Astros get a run back right there. First pitch pop up off of the bat of Kyle Tucker for the first out of the 4th. And another look at Bregman's second home run of the postseason.
2 for 21 on that splitter. There's the grip, and it just comes out and tumbles. You don't want the splitter too often to be thrown for a strike. And when it does and it hangs, that's the result that you get.
Off the pole, and the Astros, who hit 10 home runs in the division series, have a couple against Eovaldi here. The guy that hit the first one stands in, Yordan Alvarez. Strike one.
But again, that's the difference. Solo home runs it's great for the crowd and great for the team to crawl back in it, and the Astros will do that. But it'll take a few more of those. You just stay away from the men on base homers. Those are the ones that get you.
Alvarez, who is now 9 of 12 against Nate Eovaldi in his career. 5 extra base hits, including 2 home runs. Waits on this 1-1 pitch. Takes it in the dirt for ball 2.
And I mentioned he has taken Eovaldi's weapon of throwing a fastball for strikes away. It is now no longer. It is in your head. When it's 9 for 12, it is definitely you're thinking about it.
Tried to get a fastball by him last time, and he parked it in the upper deck. Ooh, baby, got away with that cutter, didn't he?
That's exactly right. And the one thing that you can do to kind of offset the fastball is have that cutter make late movement, but he's on the side of the ball on that cutter. See how it doesn't kind of make a late turn? That one borderline got away with it.
So now a 2-2. Back to a breaking ball. Gets him. His 4th strikeout of this series. All 4 have been on curves.
And that one just buckled him because it looked like a ball coming out of his hand the whole time. And it stays on the outside part of the plate. See, he thinks that's going to be kind of the split action would keep going away. Well, it comes back and catches the corner.
There's the look from behind home plate on the 3rd strikeout of the game for Nathan Eovaldi. And here comes Jose Abreu. Base is empty, 2 out. Fastball away, 1-0. Abreu grounded out his first time. 1 for 5 in this division series. The guy they kept the faith in his first season here in Houston. The last 2 months took off. One of the most productive hitters in the American League since he came off of the injured list. Took care of a back issue that had been bothering him for a lot of the year. That's been part of his thing throughout his career, where anytime he's dealt with something, he's typically played through it.
And that's a good pitch right there. 2-0 to get back in the count. The curveball for strikes. That is a pitch they don't see a lot of, and it's a good change of pace that gets him a break off of his fastball to get called for strikes.
And then the split. 2-2.
Abreu's bat has gotten, you talked about that injury. You definitely see more quickness, and his bat has gotten quicker, and that has allowed him to bring the power back, especially on the inner half of the plate.
Yeah, the Twins were pounding him in there, and all 3 home runs came against fastballs. 2-2. It just didn't look right. This is a guy who's done it at an exceptionally high level for a long time. We're talking a decade as one of the best hitters in baseball. And as of mid-August, he had been one of the worst hitters in baseball this year. Got healthy, got right. Key piece of this Astros lineup. Chases a curve here, and Eovaldi comes back from the leadoff home run to go 1-2-3 from there. It's a couple solo shots that have the Astros on the board. This one from Alex Bregman. It's a 5-2 game after 4. We're back after a word from your local Fox station. 4 down. JP France comes on for his postseason debut, and he's in there with a strike to Mitch Garver.
Well, you see the numbers on the year. 5 pitches he'll throw at any time, being a starter, and doing a nice job for the Astros this year.
As a 28-year-old rookie, JP France, a guy not many people saw coming. 14th round draft pick to the big leagues, and in a year where that rotation was topsy-turvy, he was really solid until the final month or so. Gonna get Garver here for the first out of the 5th. Start Saturday strong. What a day we've got for you. 7th-ranked Penn State battles number 3 Ohio State on Big Noon Saturday. Then you got a top 10 team in Texas taking on Houston. Finish the day with a top 20 matchup, Utah and USC. Texas, Houston in the CS, Texas, Houston in college football.
It's awesome when it works out like that.
Love it.
Except for the people here. They're torn.
I know. What do you do? Is Saturday an off day?
It's an off day.
Okay.
Yeah. That's so you know what you do.
That's right.
We should go check it out.
Jonah Heim, who homered his last time, takes outside. It's funny today you said to Bruce Bochy, hey, we'll see you in Texas.
It's an accurate statement.
It was not wrong. Yeah, you were not wrong.
But it is Dallas. We'll see him in.
That's Texas to Texas. Game 3 of the series. Wednesday night in Arlington. Rangers trying to take a 2-0 series lead there. Trying to start the postseason on a 7-game winning streak, which would match what the Astros did to begin their postseason run last year. The only longer winning streak to open a postseason is 8 straight. Kansas City Royals in 2014.
Yeah, that was an amazing year for them. And, you know, it's much like, you know, when a pitcher's going good out of the windup, well, we don't see too many windups this day, but let's say the pitcher's going good out of the windup, the hitters will say, got to get him out of the stretch. Got to get him out of the stretch. Well, someone's going to have to get Texas to lose to see how they react to a loss, because they haven't had one of those.
Get the Rangers out of the stretch. But what is the great equalizer that we've seen, and it's as old as this game is? The starting pitching has kept everybody under its thumb.
Yeah, they've done a great job, and you can say all you want about the offense provides a lot of room for those starting pitchers, but not every game's going to be a blowout.
Check swing, no swing.
And in the postseason, it is essential that if you're going to make a deep run, the less you expose your bullpen, especially the bullpen that we're talking about with the Rangers, the better chance you're going to have to make that deep run and go all the way.
Hine lifts the ball to right center field. That sends Tucker back, shading his eyes from that sun that's starting to poke its way through. 2 gone in this 5th inning. Here's a little deeper dive on these Power Rangers coming into the day outscoring their opponents, and you can now just do the simple math. 39-14 in this postseason, having trailed in just 1 inning. And so that is one of the 58 innings in this postseason for a team that was absolutely backing its way into the postseason, having gone 2-4 over the final week. You just do not know. Only in baseball can October and September feel so far apart.
Yeah, it definitely does. And every organization wants to get here and play as many of these games you can and hoist that trophy at the end.
Nathaniel Lowe is 1 for 2 with an RBI hit.
The hardest thing about the journey is you never prepare to end your season on a loss. And when you get to the postseason, every team but one will end their season on a loss.
The Astros trying to win a 3rd consecutive pennant and a 5th in 7 years. Trying to be the first team since Jeter's Yankees to repeat 98 through 2000, 3 consecutive titles. It's the longest gap between repeat champions in the history of major sports. Low into center field, sends McCormick on the move. He gets there, finishes off a 1-2-3 5th for France. Halfway home in game 2, 5-2 Texas. Little pitch count issue for Nathan Eovaldi. They talk about how good the pitching has been for these Rangers, complementing the star-studded offense. Really should be looked at, I guess, as run prevention, though, because it's been the pitching and it's been the defense.
Yeah, the defense has been huge. Look, when they score a ton of runs, it may not show up, but they've won a couple games with huge plays. That was game 1 here. This is a game-changing play. This series changes when you make plays like this, and then, of course, you put the emphasis on the offense, but their defense is very underrated, and it's a big attribute of their game.
That's something that was not good in recent seasons, but Chris Young, the former pitcher, of course, who appreciates defense, he said, hey, if we're going to do this the right way, yeah, we're going to sign the big-time pitchers like Jacob deGrom, but we're going to improve the defense as well. And that is with the guys we bring in, like Marcus Semien, who's a Gold Glover, and that's by purposeful work at it, extra work on their defense, and it's shown out. Michael Brantley leads off the 5th, and a curve just misses. You know, Brantley's a guy who he's been called, it's cliche, professional hitter. These guys all are. But it's a .305 hitter in his time in Houston. It has been honing that swing his whole life. With a dad as a hitting coach that is a former big leaguer himself in Mickey Brantley. And even to this day, Mickey will come to the games at BP, stand in the crowd, watch Michael's rounds of batting practice, and give him feedback between each.
He was talking about him drifting and keeping his shoulder back in his swing. He has one of the best approach and least amount of movement when he's connected. His hands do not move. And you can only imagine he's trying to get back to the form where just a career, unbelievably good hitter.
On this 1-2 from Eovaldi, takes outside. He said, "Dad built my swing," in a batting cage in their backyard where he grew up. Mickey played 4 seasons in the 80s with Seattle, but injuries got in the way of his career. He went on to a 2-decade career as a hitting coach, a lot of those in the minor leagues. A few years with the Blue Jays. It was a couple days before he turned 11, and his parents had taped up the windows of the house, and he's like, "What is going on?" He heard banging, he heard working out in the backyard, wasn't allowed to look. Finally, morning of his birthday, they uncover the windows, and there's his brand new batting cage. He built this big league swing.
Well, it's similar to pitching. Any lateral movement as a pitcher, you lean out too fast, your arm can't catch up. Same thing with hittings. If you're out on your front foot or you've got lateral movement, it's not good all the time. And he is so grounded from the feet up, and his hands do all the work.
Making Eovaldi work, leading off this 5th inning. 3-2 again. Brantley shoots a base hit the other way.
See, that's a perfect example. I mean, that is not a big swing. He's taken where the pitch is. They're putting together at bats that are essential to come back against a really good pitcher, and you know he feels good about that. He put in the work in batting practice, but no wasted movement. Barrel of the bat goes through the zone, and the lower half stays steady. There's no leg kick, the toes down. It's fantastic when it works.
How many times did he do that into the netting, the far side of the cage in the backyard in Florida? He's on to start this 5th. Chas McCormick takes the ball. This is the first true traffic the Astros have had against Eovaldi. The 2 runs came on 2 solo home runs. This is the only base runner outside of those homers. So really the first stress they put on Eovaldi. Chas McCormick swings over it. It's 1-1. Chas McCormick has been a Ranger killer this season. .417 average with 15 knocked in 10 games. On this 1-1 pitch, up the middle he goes. Base hit center field. Back-to-back singles to open the 5th, and Houston has the tying run coming to the plate.
And really, that's all you can ask for when you're down. And a good job by Mike Maddox to come out and have a conversation, slow the game down. That's really the only way to slow the game down with the pitch clock.
And now a quick word from Capital One.
We need a clutch hit. Derek Jeter.
Hang in there, rookie.
Well, Johnny, we talk all about the experience of Bruce Bochy, the steady and calm nature, but how about them getting Mike Maddox to leave the Cardinals, come to Texas for his 2nd stint there to steady that pitching staff?
Yeah, absolutely. He's one of the best, and he's communication with the pitchers and his ability to utilize knowledge with his mechanics that he's looking for each pitcher, and really more of the mental aspect right here. I would think what he told him is, look, we got an aggressive style hitter up here, make a pitch, hit it on the ground, you're a double play away. And I think that's the approach you got to have against really the next 2 hitters. You're facing Pena, who's super aggressive, and then Maldonado, who doesn't run very well. You can wiggle your way out of this without trying to be heroic and striking everybody out.
Already 10 pitches, still looking for his first out in this 5th. Jeremy Pena takes outside, ball 1. World Series MVP last year, LCS MVP as a rookie. representing the tying run. And bouncing the ball outside. Young can't get it. Bases loaded for the Astros. One of the first defensive lapses in October for Texas.
Well, Young's been super aggressive defensively, and he tried to come in and make a short hop. His only play was at first. He got the in-between, and that in-between did not bounce the way he anticipated with his glove. You see, he's got a play he made similar to that already in the series.
And John, Dusty Baker is sensing the game hanging in the balance right here in the 5th inning. He's going to pull the trigger on Yainer Diaz, the rookie, to pinch hit for Maldonado.
Yeah, and that's the approach you got to have, because now that his starter's out of the game, managing the pitching is a little bit less important for Dusty, and he really needs the offense in this situation.
They love Diaz around here. You know, Maldonado's a polarizing figure. They understand what he means to the pitching staff, but just doesn't do much with the bat. Totally different story for this 25-year-old rookie out of the Dominican Republic, who hit 23 home runs in essentially half a season of action.
Loves the ball middle to middle in the inner third that he just drives it off of. And against right-handers, he is lighting up the strike zone. I mean, lights it up. And if there's one area you're going to get him to chase, your better chance really doesn't expand the zone as much. So a good young hitter here with power.
Tying on the board. Go ahead run at the plate. Diaz takes the ball. Andrew Heaney. The 1-0. Fights it off foul. Astros had the bases loaded in the 4th inning yesterday. Could not score. Bases loaded in the 5th. Down 3. Down a game in the series.
Now, the one thing about a hitter like this with the bases loaded, he doesn't draw many walks, so he wants to hit. And so your pitch selection now, even at a 2-1, he'll chase up more than he'll chase down. But again, that's not the game plan of Eovaldi. He'd rather pitch down with the arsenal that he has than try to elevate the fastball.
Eovaldi, 18 innings in this postseason, has not issued a walk. Nowhere to put Diaz as he fires a 2-1 pitch. Diaz swings and misses, and it's 2-2.
Slider's the pitch. That's the pitch you want to get against this good hitting catcher, and that's the pitch you got right there on the outside part of the plate.
The 2-2. Nathan Eovaldi, the best pitcher in the American League with runners in scoring position this year. Bases loaded in the 5th. Another 2-2. Diaz swings and misses. Got him to flail after the curve for the first out.
That's just a tough pitcher, knowing with runners in scoring position, he gets absolutely better. And he basically took the velocity, hard sliders away, fastball up the foul, and gave him that change of pace curveball and got him on his front foot, and he couldn't stay back.
And now it's Jose Altuve. Buckles his knees with the first pitch curve. Altuve slumping the last few games, but has 5 home runs against Eovaldi in his career. The 0-1. Fouls it off. Quickly 0-2.
It's just amazing. I can read you all the numbers, and I told you with runners in scoring position, he just goes to another level, and he still has a lot of work to wiggle out of this situation, but feeling a lot better. 0-2, 1 out, bases loaded, than nobody out, bases loaded, facing Diaz.
Eovaldi's 0-2. The Astros looking for the big swing. The 1-2 pitch. Altuve's down on strikes, and Eovaldi goes back-to-back Ks with the bases juice.
Wow. I mean, that'll take the air out of this stadium if they do not score a run in this inning with bases loaded, nobody out, and the really top two hitters. Whoo.
Up to Alex Bregman. Homered off of the foul pole his last time. Takes inside. I mean, we're obviously talking about the game perhaps hanging in the balance, but the series and the season perhaps in the balance here for the Astros. Already down a game in the series. Bases loaded, 2 out. 1-0 pitch. Chopper left side. Young gets another chance. This one bounces right to him. And Nathan Eovaldi somehow gets out of the bases loaded, nobody out situation.
You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire.
5-2 as we go to the 6th. Strike one on Josh Young.
I got to say, a lot of situations would have been easily second guessed, and a lot of different organizations may not have let their starters stay in that environment. You got to recognize what Bruce Bochy has been able to bring to the Texas Rangers. And it's not all in one bucket, but what he was able to realize that his starter was in control of the environment. 2 singles and an error. You bring somebody else in that environment, it's totally foreign. You don't know how it's going to react. He trusted his starter, and you see the numbers when he wins game 1. And that's what Texas was hoping for. This game, there's a lot of armchair quarterbacks, but when your pitcher knows the environment and is throwing strikes, he trusted him and he got rewarded.
Yeah, and he does know the environment, right? And he's an easy guy to trust. In his 14th postseason game, plenty of games in the World Series, that 2018 run with Boston where he did some incredible things. Here's Young slapping a ball to center field right at McCormick for the first out of the 6th. You know, the defining moment, though, of the great postseason career at this point for Nate was a loss in that 18-inning game at Dodger Stadium. And Nate says that bothers him. That, you know, he said, I understand the significance of that game and that it all worked out for the Red Sox. They won the World Series. But he said, I could go out there and give up 5 runs, and as long as we win the game, that's all I care about. He's trying to write some new headliners to that postseason resume that finished with his team winning his great performance. And he's already done it twice in this postseason, winning the wild card round, winning the division series. And that is certainly the moment that's going to go near the top of the list, getting out of that bases loaded situation.
Yeah, you're not kidding, especially with who was coming up to the plate.
Yeah.
And, you know, bases loaded, nobody out. The pressure should 100% be on the pitcher. And as soon as he got that big strikeout, as a pitcher, you feel like you're one pitch from getting out of it, right? You can get that double play ball, but he didn't flinch when the error was made. Nobody flinched, including his manager, and that, mark that down, circle that inning and see how the rest of the series plays out in that scenario.
5th inning of game 2, escape act. Nathan Eovaldi, 2-2 on the Leody Taveras. 2018, this is what we're talking about, what he remembers as, what he's remembered for, going 6 innings in relief after he had pitched an inning in game 1, pitched an inning in game 2, takes over in the 13th, ultimately gives up the walk-off home run to Max Muncy in the longest World Series game ever. But, you saw the way his teammates reacted as he walked off. It was a fly ball to right center field off of the bat of Leody Taveras, carrying pretty well and out of the reach of McCormick. Taveras can fly and will for 3rd. He stops there with a triple. Leody Taveras' dream postseason continues.
Well, yesterday the theme was the 8 and 9 part of the lineup for Texas. Tonight has been more at the top of the lineup. Done a nice job, and this guy in the 9 spot sets the table for a rugged journey through Simeon and Seager in the 1 and 2 spot.
He's been on base 5 of his 6 times up in this series. That's check swing foul from Simeon. Infield put in for Dusty Baker here. Already knowing that this 3-run deficit feels like a lot. Offense scoring just 2 runs in this series to this point. Simeon is 2 out of 3. Runs into a double play. Alex Bregman, quick hands to double off Tavares and send this game to the bottom of the 6th. All Texas so far, 5-2 to the bottom of the 6th.
If the Astros are going to do anything special, it starts with this guy getting going.
Kyle Tucker, ball 1.
He is such a dynamic player. The whole world knows now what a great player he is. Probably the most underrated player for a long time. But he has struggled of late. The timing of postseason and hitters so relevant to the moment.
He is 2 for 20 this postseason. A guy that, has turned into the star the Astros always envisioned when they drafted him 5th overall in 2015, and trying to snap out of this slump, he's gone back to the barehanded look.
Yeah, long swing, but a pretty swing. You get to a lot of pitches in the zone.
Had one there and fouled it off. Now, one of the unanticipated results of the pitch clock has been him wearing batting gloves again. He's a barehanded hitter back to when he was a freshman in high school. But with the pitch clock, he felt rushed going through this routine, reaching down, grabbing the dirt. So he said in the middle of a slump back in June, I'm going to try these gloves again. And has kept them. Goes back to the old field and gets the same result. Down on strikes, 1 away in the 6th. We take a look at StatCast 3D, powered by Google Cloud. The home run from Yordan Alvarez in the 2nd.
Well, he didn't see a fastball the second time after he did this, and he was struck out on a curveball. You might have saw one fastball on that at bat, but went to a lot of splits, sliders, and curveballs. Eventually backdooring a curveball for a strikeout.
So 1 for 2 for Alvarez, who takes it inside. His 5th home run over the first 6 games of this postseason. 1 shy of Giancarlo Stanton's record for this stage of the postseason back in 2020. And he's had this kind of impact in every postseason in which he's played with. It's been every year that he's been up. I feel like he's been here forever. This is just his 5th season. 26 years of age, out of Cuba.
Well, this guy reminds me of Big Papi. I'm sorry. David Ortiz, one of the best to ever play the game, and just the way they look, their presence, their dominance at this time of the year. It's easy to draw those comparisons to Alvarez.
2-1.
Ball 3. I mean, take a look at this. This is when you know that the guy is on the track to stardom. If he can stay healthy, and he's had his bout with injuries.
On 3-1, Yordan takes ball 4. All right, here's statistical proof of your comp, Johnny. This is crazy.
Yeah, you see the slugger, of course, Hall of Famer. And everything looks the part. I mean, fear factor. And this is through their first 52 games, so you can see that they are on pace, and he is on pace. I mean, if you're in that conversation with David Ortiz, you're pretty
doing something right.
Doing something right.
Yeah. And to think this guy was not a big-time prospect at first. That is a strike on Jose Abreu. He signed with the Dodgers, and before he played in a pro game, the Dodgers traded him to the Astros for a reliever named Josh Fields. And he has blossomed into one of the most fearsome hitters in the sport. Fastball for a strike, and it's 0-2 on Abreu. That, by the way, was the first walk that Nathan Eovaldi has issued in this postseason. And you can 2 Ks to just that 1 walk.
You can understand it when the guy's 9 for 13 off of you. Yeah. You're trying to pitch him a little bit differently. And
quickly ahead, 0-2, comes back home and strikes him out. 1 batter later, 3 pitches and a K, his 8th.
Well, last inning took a little bit out of Eovaldi, but you can't tell by this inning and his effort. He's pitching this inning like his 9th inning, and you rightfully so. You know, the magic number for Texas has been 6 or more innings out of their starting pitching, and so you might seem trivial to like, what's the difference between this 3 outs? It's 1 less inning. You got to go to your bullpen. And look, they're connected from their GM, Chris Young, former pitcher, to their manager. You know, they understand this is going to be the blueprint now moving forward. They've invested in starting pitching. They believe in it, and it's showcasing itself here in the postseason.
Brantley slashes the ball to left center field. That's down, and it bounces its way to the track. Alvarez is going to have a shot. Here he comes. Here comes Seager's throw. It's not in time, and it's a 2-out RBI double from Michael Brantley.
Well, all that work he put into batting practice and the timing of that swing looks a lot better the last 2 times. Just a simple approach again. Take what the pitcher gives you, split the gap. I was a little shocked to see this run score, but Alvarez, he was getting after it there. I know 2 outs, it's easier to go on the crack of the bat.
All right, so again, the Astros get the tying run to the plate. 2 gone for Chas McCormick. Swings and misses. Strike 1. Some huge swings against the Rangers this year. Had a game-tying home run against Aroldis Chapman and a wild one back in July here. On this 0-1 from Eovaldi. Chases, and it's 0-2.
Okay, so technically he didn't have a runner in scoring position with a runner on first. Now that a guy's at second, he just goes to a different level. It's amazing.
And he strikes him out on 3 pitches. Nathan Eovaldi, the bigger the spot, the bigger the game, the better he is, and he's through 6 again. Back after a word from America's largest and fastest 5G network. 2, 3, and 4 for the Rangers. Leading game 2, 5-3. Corey Seager taking a strike from J.P. France. Top of the 7th inning. Rangers trying to get to 7-0 in this postseason. Trying to take a 2-0 series lead back to Arlington. Nathan Eovaldi sitting back there behind Austin Hedges. 6 innings again. And so, John, in this postseason, the Rangers have now had their starter go 6+ innings 5 times in 7 games. That's impressive alone. And then you look at what the rest of baseball has done. 9 times in 40 starts.
Yeah, and individually, those games, sometimes they can work out, but collectively, they add up. And it is very difficult in the new playoff system to have the ladder, be the formula. It's just too much stress, and too many guys that come in have to be really good. It only takes one to not be on his game, and it alters and changes series. So the most known commodity has always been good and great starting pitching that takes care of good and great hitting.
Josh Sborz is getting deeper and deeper into that circle of trust. Getting ready. 2-2 to Seager is high and away for ball 3. And especially for this Rangers team with the issues they've had in the bullpen. Best way to stay away from that is get what they've gotten from their starters. Corey Seager fouls that one off himself. Ouch.
Now, yesterday was a rarity because Verlander only gave up 2 runs. He gave up in 1 and in 2 different innings. That normally is not going to cost you a game. And the same scenario is in this game. They only have given up runs in 2 innings. Unfortunately, a 4 spot in the first inning.
Seager goes around, strike 3. Big check swing call there.
Yep, got on his front foot and couldn't hold it.
Yeah, John, to your point, first 4 batters of this game came in to score.
It just doesn't happen that often, and it's just a shock.
That's 4 of the 5 for the Rangers today. The only other one came on a home run from Heim in the 3rd. They only have 1 hit since then. Strike on Evan Carter. That's right. Credit to the Astros bullpen today. First Montero retired 4 batters, handed it off to France, who's given up just 1 base runner in his postseason debut, giving Dusty's offense a chance to scratch and claw from behind. Woo! "28-year-old rookie. That's 21-year-old rookie." The 1-2. Oh.
And that's the thing about the Astros. More times than not, if you don't put them away, they're going to come back. And they've had too many of those moments in their postseason run of late.
Count goes full. Yeah, both World Series wins. They've won, or they've dropped the first game. 2017 to the Dodgers. Last year to the Phillies. Were down 1-0. Came back to win the World Series. In the middle of last year's Fall Classic, they give up 5 home runs in Game 3 and then pitch a no-hitter in Game 4. Carter takes a walk here. Long track record of getting off of the map. Game summary sponsored by Wells Fargo. 4 runs on 5 hits in that first inning. Also an error on Framber Valdez, who failed to get out of the 3rd inning. Yordan Alvarez got the scoring started for the Astros with his 5th home run of this postseason. Jonah Heim answered with a home run of his own. You know, your stars, we talked about it yesterday, got to perform this time of year. And Altuve, Alvarez, and Tucker, the only hit those 3 guys have contributed is that home run they showed from Yordan Alvarez. JP France, excellent work, keeping the Astros right there. His job is finished. Back into the Astros bullpen. The Rangers up 5-3, and Phil Maton comes on to pitch.
Well, he's hoping to do what his previous 2 relievers did, keep the zeros going.
All scoreless relief work. JP France, well done, following 4 up and 4 down from Rafael Montero. There's ball 1 from Maton, who was a big part of previous postseasons, but then last year missed the playoffs. His final appearance of the regular season, he gave up a hit to his brother Nick, who was playing for the Phillies, and he was so mad that he punched a locker, broke his hand, missed the playoffs.
No way.
Yeah. Ball and a strike on Garcia.
Well, the angle to which he throws, you see that pitch right there, has good metrics to it in the outcomes of pitch and spin rate, and that's why he can get, he's kind of a reverse trend, will get left-handers out because of that spin and the way angle at which he throws.
Carter at first, 1 away. He'll check on it.
That part of our industry I've never understood. Why you would use your moneymaker to punch things.
Yeah, sibling rivalry did it. Makes you do crazy things, huh? Like use your other hand. Punch it with your left hand or your foot or something.
Yeah.
Finish off this season on a hot streak at a sub-1 ERA in September. And scoreless relief work in the division series for Maton. First appearance of this CS. Delivers 2-1. Adolis Garcia bounces one to 3rd. Bregman gets there. Only play is at first. 2 out. And now a quick word from Loan Depot.
I'm Jay, and this is my home. My first big purchase with help from Loan Depot. To find out what Loan Depot can do for you, call 844-752-LOAN or visit loandepot.com.
2 gone in the 7th. 2-run lead for Texas. And a good fastball hitter here coming up in Mitch Garver.
Almost assured to see all spin.
Does on the first pitch. Ball 1. You know what's something is that even though he has that reputation of being a great fastball hitter and does see mostly spin, that's how he's gotten all his hits in this postseason. Two 2-0 on him.
With Maton, you're not going to know anything that's going on. He never really changes his expression.
Check swing, tapper back to him. Maton will flip it on to Abreu. 7th inning stretch time in game 2. It's been a fun. How to find a league near you. Go to playball.org. Coming down the stretch here, bottom of the 7th. Jeremy Pena swings and misses at Josh Spore's first pitch. Spore's getting more and more trust from Bruce Bochy, and he's earning it.
He is earning it. Don't pay attention to that ERA right now. It's the postseason that he has been locked in and heavy usage of sliders.
He came on yesterday to finish off the 7th inning and retired 2 hitters. Didn't give anything up. He's pitched in 4 postseason games and yet to allow a hit. 29 years old from D.C. Wow, that thing had teeth.
Well, there's a growing theme in this theory so far. I know it's early, but the Astros are only 1 for their 20 on breaking balls in this series. So it's a really, really good offensive team that's been kept at bay by the ability to spin the baseball by the Rangers.
Jeremy Pena starts the 7th and watches spin miss away.
And now they're facing a guy that throws it about 64% of the time, so they're going to see more of it. Whether or not they can adjust and get one in the zone, you can tell this inning.
Pena is 0 for 2 today on a 2-2 pitch. It's at foul. Got Diaz and then the top of the order in Altuve coming up.
And again, because their bullpen's been so good, they're 1 player getting on base, of course, for the tying run to come to the plate. And that's all you can ask for at this point from the Astros.
Yeah, when you consider Valdez was out of there in the 3rd inning. That's a ground ball to Seager at short for the first out of the 7th. And this Texas bullpen during the regular season was the big story as far as what's going to hold the Rangers back. But in the postseason, a 1.83 ERA. After last night, 2 2/3 scoreless.
I think you said something, and up to the fact that I don't think any team's ever won the World Series where they've blown more saves than they've had.
Never even made the playoffs until.
Okay, then that holds true.
Same idea.
Same idea. So they're pulling something off right here.
Blow saves, lose games, don't typically win many in October. Yonder Diaz taking a strike. Pinch hit, one of the biggest spots in this game for Maldonado with the bases loaded in the 5th inning. Astros had bases loaded, nobody out. They've already struck out Diaz, struck out Altuve, got Bregman to ground out to get out of that inning unscathed. That is where the big bold circle is on the score sheet. Seager again, 2 up, 2 down in the 7th.
I'll be very interested here to see what Bruce Bochy does if he gets Altuve. Will he leave him in to start the 8th facing Bregman, or will he bring in Chapman in a clean inning? More than likely that's what he's done. He's brought Chapman into a clean inning.
Altuve 0 for 3 today. Chases, flails after that curve. 0 for 2 or 0 for 3 today and 1 for his last 15. And of course the critical mistake on the bases last night. Knees buckled, 0-2. Josh Spore's feeling it. Here he comes.
I think in a weird way the pitch clock can help you stay in rhythm when you've got things going, and obviously get you out of rhythm really quick and the inning gets away from you. But when you have less time to think about it, when you're going good, you just keep pounding those pitches in the strike zone.
It's like nightfall on a round of golf. Yeah, moving. There is Abreu. And the Astros bullpen. 5-3 game, bottom of the 7th. Josh Spore is looking for a 1-2-3 inning. His 2-2 to Altuve. Outside with a heat.
right here, pitch selection 3-2. You got to bank that Altuve wants to swing. If you start this slider anywhere close to the strike zone, he will go after it. If it's too far wide, then that will require him to walk.
Payoff pitch. Woo! Locked him up and struck him out. And Josh Sborz has a 1-2-3 7th. Fourth Astros reliever. First three have put up zeros and kept them in this one.
Yeah, this guy's a stud. We saw him yesterday, and he can electrify with the fastball and breaking ball combination.
With the 1-2-3 inning. Last run that Abreu gave up was on July 15th. That's 31 games ago. Faces Jonah Heim, who's got a home run in this game. He fouls it off, 1-2. A home run was back in the third. They only have one hit since the first inning other than that. There's a triple from Taveras in the sixth, and he was promptly doubled off. If you tune in after the first inning, you miss most of this game. First four hitters reached, first four hitters scored. Swing and a miss and a strikeout opens the eighth. Down to Tom Verducci.
Well, Joe, first Jordan Montgomery, tonight Nathan Eovaldi. Just master classes at pitch distribution. Look at the 91 pitches so evenly distributed for Nathan Eovaldi, and go back to that bases loaded jam, the 3 outs he most needed. He got those with 3 different pitches: the curveball, the splitter, and the cutter.
Here's low, popping one into shallow center field. Pena goes out. He gets there. And against this Astros lineup that had been clicking coming into this division series, Montgomery and Eovaldi holding them to just 3 runs.
Well, he pounded the strike zone. He made pitches when he had to, and he, obviously the benefactor before he even went out to the mound, a 4-0 lead, so that doesn't hurt. But he was able to get every big out he needed. The game could have really changed after the bases got loaded and nobody out. I mean, to get out of there with 1 run, that's a superb job. To get out of there with no runs, that's Houdini. That's pulling a magic trick.
Josh Young looking for his first hit of the day. Takes in the dirt. Ball 2. Again for the Astros in the 8th inning. Bregman, Tucker, and Alvarez. Just looking at the names, their best shot coming up shortly. 2-0. Astros have never won a postseason series where they've fallen behind 2 games to none. There's so many occasions of them getting off of the mat after losing 1. You touched on it during the pregame show, John. 4 straight losses in the postseason. They've immediately answered with a win. But never before have they erased a 2-0 deficit. 2-1 pitch. 2-2.
Well, there are some strange things that in this year's team, you know, you talked about, are they vulnerable? And then they ended up on the last day of the season winning the division, but they haven't had the normal success at home. They've actually enjoyed being on the road.
21 games above 500 on the road. Young watches ball 3. Where he wanted it, and had a pretty good case.
Yeah, this is center cut down in the, just maybe just a touch low, but
fresh life for Young. And a 3-2. Ball don't lie. Here we go to the bottom of the 8th of game 2. 2, 3, and 4 coming up for the Astros, down 2. ALCS is sponsored by Taco Bell. Steal a base, steal a taco is back. And we are back in Houston, Texas. Rangers took game 1 2-0. Raced out of the gates in game 2 with 4 runs in the first inning. And as we get to the bottom of the 8th, they've got a 5-3 lead. They've got the big man, Aroldis Chapman, on to face 2, 3, and 4 in the Astros order. Alex Bregman, who retired in the 8th inning yesterday, goes after the first pitch and skies it to shallow center field. Simeon calling, and giving way to the center fielder Taveras.
A little surprised by that. I know what Bregman was trying to do is kind of jump his fastball, but we talked about Chapman. If he gets in trouble, it's because he loses command of his fastball in the strike zone. Well, by swinging at that first pitch, you don't know if that's going to be the case. And a relatively patient Bregman, aggressive early in this game.
Batting gloves back on for Tucker. Didn't work. He went barehanded, struck out. Swings and misses at a live fastball. Tucker is 0 for 3 and 2 for 21 in the postseason. Trying to set the table for Alvarez to reach and make Alvarez the tying run. The 1 from Chapman. So you have the lefty-lefty lined up here. Chapman against both Tucker and Alvarez. But as we talked about yesterday, in terms of on-base plus slugging percentage, Tucker and Alvarez are 2 of the 3 best left-handed hitters ever against left-handed pitching, trailing only Barry Bonds. 2 balls, 1 strike. Tries to lay off and does. 3-1. (5-3) game in the 8th. 3-1 to Tucker. Fastball to the corner and the count is full.
Well, again, Chapman's been here, done that a lot, and he knows the situations and knows who's on deck. And I mentioned it yesterday, and you got to make him hit his way on.
Payoff. Sharp grounder right at Simeon. 2 up and 2 down in the 8th inning. When we finish, you've got Game 1 of the National League Championship Series. Game 2 is tomorrow as this series travels up to Arlington, and we'll be back with you on FS1 Wednesday night. Wheeler and Gallen, Game 1 of the National League side tonight over on TBS. Seems like every time they face Alvarez, and with the exception of just 1 at-bat in this series, bases have been empty.
Yeah.
Hammers the ball down the line. His second of the game, cuts it to 1. The amazing Yordan Alvarez with his 6th home run in 6 games this postseason.
Well, it almost looked like a get-me-over slider, and this was not a get-me-over homer. This ball was crushed, and this guy is a one-man wrecking crew. Didn't feel well yesterday, probably didn't feel as great today, but you can't tell by his 2 home runs. Solo home runs, they're still in the game, and the Rangers still have the lead, but now 1 more of those solo home runs and we've got a tie Wago.
Yeah, you out-homer your opponent this postseason. You're 15-1, but 3 home runs for the Astros, all with the bases empty. 2 gone in the 8th. That is going to do it for Otis Chapman. Jose Leclerc getting warm in a hurry because Bruce Bochy is going to call on his closer for a 4-out save. Gonna go righty-righty. It's a 1-run game in the 8th inning here in Houston after Yordan Alvarez launches his 2nd home run of the afternoon. Finalists: Reds, Pirates, Royals, D-backs, Twins, and celebrate their commitment to changing the game on and off the field. It's a 1-run game, and it's the 7th game in the postseason. Jose Leclerc has pitched in all 7.
Well, he's their hottest reliever, and they're going to him for a 4-out potential save.
Jose Abreu takes strike 1, a slider to the corner.
And they have really done a good job on Abreu spinning the baseball.
0 for 3 today. spins again. He laid off.
See, when I see a hitter right there as a pitcher and even the catcher, he's willing to go after that pitch. He is really expanding the zone on anything that spins, trying to, of course, get a heater. And you got to stick with that pitch.
On this 1-1, Abreu takes ball 2. Biggest free agent pickup since Jim Crane took over the team. Largest contract they've signed from the outside, and he was not good for the first half of the season. Astros never lost faith. He's rewarded them for that lately. And stands in there representing the tying run, with the Astros staring down a 2-0 deficit. On a 2-1 pitch, Abreu lays off.
Wow. Good job by Abreu after going after the first couple, even though he didn't swing in the second one. We talked about before this series started, I thought it was going to be a classic. It's going to live up to it. I'm telling you. Give Houston credit to get to this point. Down 1 in the 8th, 2 outs.
After trailing by 4. Boy, you didn't see that coming, did you? He found that discipline, lays off, takes the walk, and the tying run reaches in the 8th.
Well, when you see home runs, normally they're on really, really bad pitches, meaning you're not going to hit the target. Watch the target on this pitch. He hits it. I mean, the catcher didn't have to move the glove. And watch the target on this pitch. It started there and it ended there on the outside corner, and that is just tip your hat. And though the pitch wasn't as sharp out of Chapman, but man, 2 home runs, 2 pitches. Kind of thrown where the catcher's glove was.
So it's tied Giancarlo Stanton for the most home runs through 6 games in a postseason.
So now in this situation against a professional hitter, right, the power is going to be inner half for Brantley. You'll take your chances on him away trying to do something. The outfield's going to play no doubles, and of course maybe not a lot of speed at first base, but the one area you don't want to throw that slider is in that sweet zone of lefty down and in. You've got to keep the ball away.
Brantley takes ball 1. What a day it's already been for Michael Brantley.
The one area you want to stay away from is right there. That's going to be in there. It's going to be the power stroke of Brantley.
On the 1-0 pitch, outside ball 2. Showed off that power with an RBI double his last time.
Well, if he doesn't get Brantley, that guarantees Altuve is going to come up to the plate in the 9th inning. So a big hitter here for the plate.
On 2-0, Brantley takes ball 3. 7 consecutive misses from the clerk. Walk. Tying run into scoring position. Go ahead run aboard.
You know, in a weird way, it was almost an unintentional, I'm not going to pitch to Brantley and worry and take my chances with McCormick, who is a more aggressive hitter. I don't think that aggression will be any lessened by the fact that the previous 2 guys have walked. So that was part of the game plan, I'm sure.
2 on, 2 out, 1-run game in the 8th. Chas McCormick takes the 9th consecutive ball from Jose Leclerc. And the Astros are hoping that this game is just too long for the Texas bullpen. They trailed 4-0. They trailed 5-1. McCormick chases. 1-1. The cutter moves away.
Sometimes a pitcher just needs a reset, and that reset is getting a swing and a miss on a pitch that would have been a ball, right? And you start staying stubborn on the outside part of the plate, throwing the previous 8.
Stressful stuff. Here's the 1-1. Ground ball left side. Young's got it. Juggle recovers and steps on the bag to end the 8th. The 2nd home run of the day from Yordan Alvarez has the Astros back to within 1 as we go to the 9th in game 2. Well, this Houston bullpen has given him a chance to come back in this game. 4 different relievers have put up zeros, and now it's the best of the bunch. Ryan Presley, automatic at the back end during this run for Houston. Non-save situation, of course, but try to keep them within 1. You touched on it, John, that little 2-out burst. Make sure that the top of the order is going to get up there for the Astros in the 9th inning. Leody Taveras leads off this half for the Rangers. It'll be Pena, Diaz, and Altuve due up in the bottom of the 9th. Astros have chipped away. They trailed 4-0. 5 hitters into this game. Trailed 5-1 after 3. 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 8th.
Yeah, there's a little trend going that Texas would like to see continue, and Houston would not, and that is every odd inning there's been a 0. I'm into that stuff. You know that.
Yeah,
you've done enough games. I'm a scoreboard watcher. Yeah,
10,
trends.
12, 14.
Absolutely. This is 0-1, 0-1, 0-1, 0-1.
3-0 on Taveras, who takes a 4-pitch walk to open this 9th inning, and Taveras has been on base 6 of his 7 times up in this championship series. We were talking about the Astros' issues at home, as we take a look at On the Road, sponsored by Wagoneer by Jeep. Well, below 500 at home this season, but provides a little bit of hope as this series shifts up to Arlington. 53-30 on the road this year.
Yeah, that is shocking. I mean, that really is. I mean, from a team with who plays home park should be that reverse number.
Top of the order for the Rangers, looking for some insurance here. Strike 1 on Semien. Helps set the tone with a base hit on the first pitch of this game. 2 pitches into the game, it was 1st and 2nd after Semien and Seager singled against Valdez.
Talk about a power breaking ball with fastball cuts, got cut spin, great downward action.
Look out, gets away from Presley. Up to second goes Taveras. Massive run right there.
It sure is massive. I mean, Leclerc's been in a lot of situations where he knows 1-run saves and all that, but he is hoping he sits for 10 minutes because he would like some room for the 9th inning in what has become a very, very tight game now.
Rangers had those 4 in the first. They only have 2 hits since then. Off the end of the bat foul, and it's 2-2. But part of them still being such a good team this year, even with the struggles of the bullpen, has been being able to outscore those problems. And it looked like early they were going to do the same today. To this point, not able to extend it. And so the bullpen is going to have to be strong again. On a 2-2, Semien swings and misses. Bottom falls out of a changeup. Unable to advance the runner, 1 away.
Well, I'd be very careful with the next man coming up. He's gotten a hit, but it was a blooper in his first at bat. And there's the changeup you were talking about. Great pitch selection. You know Seager's going to be ready, and he's going to look at something breaking over the middle part of the plate to try and launch.
Here it comes. Take a rip at a slider. Taveras at second, 1 away. 0-1 from Presley is in the dirt. Ball and a strike. Rangers started this game 3 for 5 with runners in scoring position. 0 for their last 7. One from Presley to Seager. Chopper. Abreu takes it himself. 2 out.
Well, Mr. Heartbeat, slow heartbeat.
No heartbeat.
No heartbeat.
This is Evan Carter. Stone cold Evan Carter. Mild-mannered 21-year-old from Tennessee. The perfect temperament to succeed when he got no business doing so. Called up just a little bit after he turned 21. Runner at third, 2 gone, 9th inning. Comes out of his shoes on that first pitch curve.
Well, the big thing to watch for now is the way that he throws that breaking ball. A lot of pressure on Diaz to block the ball. Good speed at third base. And that's what you're looking for. If you're the third base runner, you're going to get off as far as Bregman is away from the bag, and you're going to try to look for that ball in the dirt.
Chopper right side. Carter can really run. It's a foul ball. It's a foul ball, and it's 0-2. Astros in the bottom of the 9th. Pena, Diaz, Altuve. They've got Jose Leclerc trying to go 1+ to get the save. He's gone 1+ already in this postseason, so this is nothing new for him. But trying to do it a day after he finished off game 1.
That's an unbelievable feeling for a closer, because usually when you come in and you get the job done and you take the last out, you're shaking hands. Not when you're going 1+. You got to sit there and you got to think about it, and you got to go back out and do it again. And your day off tomorrow.
Presley's 0-2.
I was in a string of games, trying to learn the role, and I had gotten a big out with a runner on third, and the third out. In the 8th inning, I went to go shake the first baseman's hand, and he's running off the field. And I'm like, oh, shoot. It's only the 8th.
Oh, boy. 1-2 offer.
After a couple foul balls, this is where I would think he would try to throw that tighter version. They're going to speak about it right here, and think down in the zone.
Just 2 2/3 today from Framber Valdez. He gave up 5 runs. It was 5-1 when he left the game, but Montero, then France, then Maytown, then Abreu, and now Presley. Keeping the Rangers right there. Give the Dusty Baker's team a chance to do what it's done throughout this year, and that is, nothing's been easy. They've kind of been the odds stacked against them. Find a way. Taveras at third. 2 gone in the 9th. The 1-2 from Presley.
He wanted it in and down, and he left it up still. Part of that is you know there's a runner on third, and you want to stay away from that spiked breaking ball.
Trying it again. Carter takes up and away, and the count evens 2-2. Garcia waits on deck. Presley having to dig deep here against 21-year-old who really succumbs quickly. Nickname in the minors was Full Count. Man at third, insurance at third, and he's worked it full once again, living up to the nickname.
Can't tell you how impressive this is.
On the 8th pitch, Carter grounds one right side. Altuve's there. On to first. On to the bottom of the 9th. Fasten those seatbelts. 8-9-1 coming up for the Astros. Down 1. 5-1. It is now 5-4 as Jose Leclerc tries to go 1 in the 3rd to lock down a 2-0 series lead for Texas.
Well, including the postseason, he's done this 13 times, and only one unearned run allowed in those 13 appearances.
Astros have just continued to fight back quietly, a run at a time. 1 in the 2nd, 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 8th. Here in the 9th, Pena, Diaz, Altuve. Leclerc throws, and Jeremy Pena takes strike 1. Kid who started on this stage as a rookie last year. MVP of the Championship Series and the World Series. Swings and misses, and it's 0-2.
Those two sliders were absolutely perfect on the outside part of the plate. Look for him to go there again.
One-run game, 9th inning. 0-2 from Leclerc. Pena takes a ball. It's 1-2.
Well, you got to imagine there's some anxious people in Dallas. They want the perfect day today. They want to see the Rangers win, and then later tonight kick back and watch Monday Night Football and the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But right now, there's a lot of chewing on the nails.
1-2 goes up with a fastball. Somehow gets there. Sends it in the air to right. Garcia to the wall with just enough room. Oh, he gave it a ride and gave him some hope, but it dies on the track. One gone in the 9th.
I tell you what, he seems cool and calm, and when he saw his right fielder kind of stop going back, he felt a little bit better. A big first out.
He fits right in with that calm, steady personality of this whole Rangers team. Now it's the rookie Diaz. Fouls off the first pitch. Altuve waits on deck as Yainer Diaz looks for his first postseason hit. He came on in the biggest spot of this game. Bases loaded, nobody out in the 5th inning, struck out. Eovaldi got out of that unscathed. On this 0-1, Diaz takes a ball.
Now to be able to throw that pitch, which he's so good at, and they struggle off his slider, is you got to keep your front side quiet as a pitcher, and to nail that outside part of the plate where Heim is setting up, that's essential that you do that.
Ground ball smothered by Young to his feet, to first in time. 2 gone in the 9th.
There's that guy again. He had a really tough play that was an error, and this was even tougher. Once he smothered, he gathered and made a strong throw across the base. And he has been tough at third base for the Rangers. Well, here's your dilemma. You know this man's trying to swing and hit one over the Crawford box, and he will be aggressive in that first pitch. So pitch selection won't change. I'm imagining to be that slider in the outside part of the plate.
63 home runs on the first pitch in his career. Change inside, ball 1. Only Manny Ramirez has hit more postseason home runs than Jose Altuve. Astros down to their last out in game 2. Altuve takes ball 2. On deck is Bregman.
Actually surprised by that first pitch. Now you got a 2-0 count.
Comes back home, and Altuve takes a strike. It's 2-1. This topsy-turvy year, tested like never before during this decade of dominance. The Astros trying to mount this massive comeback. 3-1 on Altuve. Fly ball center field. Taveras comes on. The call, the catch, the win in game 2. A nail biter that goes Texas way, 5-4, and they lead this best of 7, 2 games to none.
Oh, what a gutsy pitch there. 3-2 challenged him, and you knew Altuve was going to try and launch. The outfielders were almost sitting on the fence. They were so far deep, and that fly ball went to the right part of the ballpark.
I think if Tal's Hill was still here, Taveras would have had a lawn chair out there, getting a good look at that. Chris Young has a good look at his team, going to 7-0 in this postseason. With a 5-4 thrilling win in game 2. And you said this series had a chance to be a classic, and through 2 games, it is off to a heck of a start in that direction.
Well, there's the 3-2 pitch, kind of center cut up, and he challenged him. And right there, that's the sign that every Ranger wanted to see. Tell you what, this has been some kind of run for the Texas Rangers. They get to go home, and each manager has a different result and a different feeling because of their club coming back, and oh so close for Dusty Baker.
Now how about Jose Leclerc? Just stone cold, straight face, inning and a third. He's pitched an